Welcome to Shelor Select. The whole system will be ready in a few minutes. Take your seat and enjoy.
Looking for some of that, like, high-end, pappy, finished like vanilla shit like that. But yeah, it's all right.
Wait, so
what are you guys having?
So how old is it? Oh, wait, sorry. I'll answer your question in a minute, but I missed how old it was.
That's because I didn't tell you.
Okay.
And I'm looking at the bottle because I don't know. Obviously it didn't come out in 1815. It doesn't say. Interesting. I'll have to Google it and find out.
1815. So what is that, about 200 years old?
Yeah, give or take.
206?
Yeah.
Not bad. That's pretty good age for Scotch, right?
Yeah, I don't make that kind of money, though.
So I just hit the record button on the voice, actually, so we might have missed a few seconds of that first part. But anyway.
All right.
We're doing it now, so we might have missed that first part. But anyway, I have Termana Tequila.
There it is.
My boy, The Rock. This is his tequila. I'm going to take a little shot right now.
There you go. Nice.
Get this party going. I had a nice little Saturday so far. So
good. Yeah, you went out and checked out a brewery in the Noke.
Yeah, went up there. I didn't go to the new one, Twisted. There's the one called Twisted Cracks. No, Twisted Racks. Tracks. And
Chain Gang Alley.
Yeah, and apparently they're pretty strict on the COVID. Like once you sit down, you're not supposed to get up or do anything. So anyway, that's word from one of my friends. So, but we didn't go there. But we went to the usual ones we went to. So, but here's my little shot for the night. Here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother. Also, Devin Dalton's in the house. Devin, you got anything you want to say?
Well, I'm drinking a little Red's Apple Ale.
Okay.
Delicious.
It's got a lot of sugar in it. I don't have a big, long definition like Mr. John Dub there.
Nah, who cares about that?
It's got alcohol in it, so that's good.
I can run my mouth for years. You know this.
Is that, Devin, is that your usually go-to is the Red Apples? I thought you were a hard root beer kind of guy.
I like anything fruity like that, not high sugar.
Fair enough.
If we're talking beer, I just Budweiser, something simple.
Bud or Bud Light.
Nothing wrong with that. Dude wants a king of beers. He wants a Budweiser, right?
I am the king. Yeah,
that's right. So,
but yeah, Red's Apple, I guess that would be my go-to. If we're doing Mezzadin Food Market up here, shout out Mezzadin Food Market.
Oh, Mezzadin, baby, we give the food market a shout out on this podcast.
I like a little Red's Apple Ale, twisted tea, something. If I'm looking for sugar, that's what I go to. If I'm looking for beer, I like a Chelada, Clamato, Budweiser Clamato. The spicy.
Is that the red eye?
Yeah, it's like a red eye, but yeah, that's kind of my go-to.
They're pretty good though, man.
Yeah, just basic Budweiser or something like that.
That's old school drinking, just beer and tomato juice, man.
I'm an old school guy,
Ain't nothing wrong with old school stuff, man. Hey, what's going on here?
And the dogs are back, ladies and gentlemen.
And the dogs are
if I'm going to be on this podcast, I'm not going to tolerate those dogs. Get them out of here.
You gotta. They only come in whenever
podcasting. They have to start fighting
every time. I think that's the fourth time I've been on here now, and there's always one coming in, either wanting to sniff or bite something.
Yeah, I hit record, and all of a sudden, here we go. It's like they immediately got to fight. So. Well, anyway, I'm glad both of y'all are here tonight. So, thought we might just chat and bullshit and have a good time. Really appreciate y'all being here. So
yeah, no problem. Good to be here.
Hey, can y'all calm down? I get.
I'm trying.
No, I get a lot of people who say, "I love the dogs just being on there. That makes your podcast a little something special."
I mean, dude, I like the fact that they're coming in there and just kind of running around, free roaming, adding a little bit of spice. At some point in time, I haven't seen if you've put the dogs on camera yet, and like just pick one up and be like, "Behold," because they're not big.
No, they're not.
Let's see what they look like.
They weigh 10 pounds.
Probably together.
So, already, I've had a lot of people in my life tell me, when they ask me about what kind of dogs I have and stuff, they say, and I tell them I have wiener dogs, and are you serious? And I wouldn't expect that. I wouldn't expect that from you. No, I was like, do I give off a different vibe? I guess.
I would definitely say you're more of the contemporary. I'm going to have like a pit bull mixed breed, maybe something that's Rhodesian Ridgeback, something that kind of says I'm active, I'm out. Me and my dog are doing stuff, and
that's what they tell me is more of a pit bull golden retriever kind of guy. But
yeah,
I always saw you as a wiener dog kind of guy.
oh, see, Devin knows.
Called it
like a wiener dog guy.
Called it.
well, let's get into something good here. Any hot topics we need to talk about? What's going on with the news lately?
Oh God, things I don't want to talk about. Let's see here. Well, Joe Biden is having issues with stairs and guns.
We've had a bunch of shootings.
Oh, just one, but yeah, that was my favorite part. I saw that there was a Syrian, unfortunately, done. Okay, so allegedly, it's all allegedly, a Syrian man shot 10 people, and people are talking about how we need to work on gun reforms, but no one wants to mention the fact that we bombed Syria. The president of the United States authorized the bombing of Syria a month ago, and then a Syrian national who came here to the U.S. is now involved in a aggressive act. I guess those things aren't related, though. They don't. I don't really think those would be related at all. But yeah, we're not talking about that. But
well, no,
stairs.
We can talk about that because it's kind of weird that, and everyone thought. I shouldn't say everyone, but Trump was the worst person in the world, and that he was going to start World War III. But all of a sudden, Biden comes in, and all of a sudden, here he's bombing Syria.
Yeah.
But the news doesn't. No, it seems like it was this old news. There's nobody give a fuck about it.
No,
and is it because? And also, he fell down the stairs, like you just said.
No, he fell up the stairs.
He fell up the stairs.
He fell up.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go watch the video. He fell up.
And the internet obviously gave him the internet treatment, the Instagram meme treatment. But here's the news. All of a sudden, wait, no, he's fine. Let's not worry about that. But if Trump would have did that, it would have been the most worst thing in the world. They would have picked apart everything about it. Correct?
Yes, absolutely.
That's correct.
The issue isn't that one of these people is inherently better or worse than the other. The issue is that the media has no longer given us an unbiased report of what's going on. There was recently an article with Biden in which they said I think it was either New York Times or Press, I'll look it up. But the article was, really trying to bring in this idea of him being a good guy and spending time with his family and relaxing on the weekend, which as working professionals, we're all looking for. We're all looking to get to that, under 40 full-time kind of gig where we're not working on the weekends. We're spending time with our friends, family, and loved ones. And they're like, this guy he's leaving the White House. He's going to Camp David. He's going to Delaware to recharge and recuperate. And they're like, he's done this every week for the last 3 weeks. And my first thought was like, so this guy isn't working weekends at all, just, going out on the taxpayer dime. But I'm getting to read a puff piece because they're like, oh, look how good of a person he is. And I'm like, just say what's happening. It's like, there's not enough work for the president to do over the weekend, obviously, because he just keeps leaving. Or, hey, telecommuting works or something like that. It's just either the bringing up or bringing down of character is now more in the news as something that's a legitimate process to, sell toilet paper, as it always has been, versus actually providing the American public with the news.
Do you know the Hill news source?
I've heard of them. Okay. I mean, I've seen their stuff from time to time.
So, Sinaran and Karen, I'll probably butcher their names, but one is a liberal, one is a Republican, and they do a full news thing every day. And so they just posted, speaking of your toilet paper shortage, or toilet paper, there's a shortage now that could be because of the what's the thing that's blocking the Egypt Canal? I'm butchering.
Oh, that's the boat. It's the Suez.
Yeah, the shipping container that's blocking. Man,
yeah.
People are probably yelling right now, like, you motherfucking idiot. But anyway, So anyway, now they just posted, huh?
Wait, so what's going on with Egypt's getting? What are you talking about now? This is
now
all
people have to go around the Horn of Africa to bring in shipping containers. But there was a canal there, and Jonathan, I guess you're looking it up.
Suez
right,
Canal.
John?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know me.
So I can see you looking up at your computer. So anyway, there's a shipping container that somehow got lodged in this one canal, and it's blocking everybody. And apparently, I think that the U.S., when I say we, not me, but the U.S. is now sending our Navy out there to try to get this boat to stop blocking it.
You have to understand that this canal was built as a way of getting thousands of ships through without having to go around the Horn of Africa. This was as important, if not more important, for that side of the globe as the Panama Canal was for this side of the globe.
Correct.
I mean, it saves tons of fuel costs, shipping times, labor, the whole works, and you have this big, beautiful evergreen boat just. And it's good. It's stuck there, and people are like, "Well, what do we do?"
Yeah,
and it's gigantic.
And I don't understand why it got stuck or how it just got blocked. It's literally blocking everything. There's nothing that can come through there. But anyway, going back to my point is that
Homeboy's seen too much Tokyo Drift.
The Hill posted that because of this, there's probably going to be another toilet paper shortage, as in when COVID first hit or the pandemic first just hit.
Now, let that sink in for a moment. Most of our toilet paper, I don't want to say, I'll just want to say paper products. I believe that most of our paper products come from either South America, from the Amazon rainforest, but are processed here. I can totally see, however, that our logistics system would send things halfway across the world and then back. So, yeah, could very well happen. But, people are, yeah.
For some reason, I would have thought China, but.
Well, so it's wherever you have a large amount of forestry, and forestry's always been Amazon. The U.S. would be a lot in California if we could let them, the government could manage the forestry industry enough there to actually harvest trees instead of let them burn. But I digress.
I'm still trying to figure out how a boat blocking a canal above Africa is causing a shortage in toilet paper. If you're saying a lot of our toilet paper.
I don't know if it's just toilet paper, but it's a shortage.
If the toilet paper is coming from South America, then how is the canal being blocked?
I could be wrong on those points, but I do know a boat is blocking that canal.
Okay.
And then I know the Hill.
God's telling me that all the toilet paper comes from South America. So what's a boat?
Well, I don't know where all the toilet paper
and
comes.
A lot of it's processed here. But you have to remember that the way that the entire global economy works and the way that we send things in and out, there's efficiencies in the processing that it may be actually done in China. So it could be lumbered and harvested in South America, sent over to China, processed there, and then sent back to America because it would be cheaper than having a plant in America processing said wood pulp. But I don't know where Sharman lives.
This is why we do this podcast, because
okay.
I would have never thought in my life, where does toilet paper come from? I just know it. I go to the store and get it and come home.
Well, now I'm learning something.
And this is what I hope. Some people also are learning.
I hope.
And it could be unrelated to this boat blocking the canal, but I just know there's a connection here.
Okay.
I feel it in my loins.
Okay, so Charmin's largest toilet paper manufacturing facility is in Mahoopany, Pennsylvania. So there we go.
Mahoopany?
I said Mahoopany. I was like, oh, where's that? Pennsylvania. Of course it is.
Hell is Mahoopany? I've never heard of that. Wait, so that's where Charmin produces all their toilet paper.
That is their largest. So it doesn't mean that they're not shipping raw materials elsewhere. But again, the idea that someone says a canal, which I would be more likely to believe that your paper goods such as writing paper, but again, students aren't using a ton of that. Any of the cheap plastics that would be coming from overseas, oil, because there's oil that's coming through. I want to say that may be a large oil shipping lane also. But those things, I can see those prices going up. But toilet paper is like, really? That one doesn't hold water. We'll hold some shit, though. We'll see.
It will hold some shit. I like that.
Yeah. Jokes aside, it's that's another reason why I think a lot of people are going away from these large syndicated, and you hear this all the time. Well, people are getting away from traditional sources of news. And by the traditional, your CNN, your Fox, even BBC a little bit, but they've kind of held their head high and they deliver really flat news. So they're pushing through. But you get these companies on, left leaning, right wing, whoever they pander to, are now just telling such a spin and flavor of the news. People are getting their news from memes. Memes are probably one of the most accurate forms of news that we have today. And it started with South Park. South Park would take legitimate stories, find out the information on them, and make them funny as shit for half an hour. Yeah. And people gobbled it up.
Yeah, and a lot of people have trouble with South Park and just saying, like, I don't understand how they can do what they do, but it's all animated stuff, and that's the reason they can get away with a lot of the, explicit material they put out. And also, Family Guy is almost the same way. I mean, Family Guy almost got canceled a couple times. South Park probably
did get canceled
too.
Yeah, it just made.
But it's not real
Fox
stuff, so people are just. I guess that's how they get away with it. If it was real people doing this, then yeah, kind of what you're talking about, canceled.
Oh, they'd be canceled hard. Oh, cancel culture. That's a fun topic we can talk about another time.
Man, I don't even know if we should get into that. But yeah, that's fun. I mean, I don't mind talking about that. But
you get into that, Chris, and you might get canceled.
Well, I mean, my 7 viewers that look at this or whatever. But I kind of want to go back onto talking about paper and stuff. And then we'll go back into cancel culture, and that's fine too. But I always heard growing up that the reason for technology and the way we're trying to move forward with making our lives easier through technology, that we would become a paperless society.
And
any thoughts?
It's moving in that direction. It has. Someone made an analysis of the statement of kids never read anymore. Well, it's like, actually, no, kids read either 200 or 300% more than their age counterparts would have in the 80s and even in the 90s, because there's so much digital media to read and there's so much screen time that they are immersed constantly in words. So, that has made it, newspapers, it's more costly to get a newspaper than it is to subscribe to Wall Street Journal online, for instance, and get that anytime you want. Instead of having to wait until the morning for news that's already outdated by maybe a day or two because of, again, due diligence that would have occurred at some point in time. Now you're getting snippets of news that are coming up hot 2, 3 in the morning, our time, because it's, 3, 4 in the afternoon somewhere else.
I would say that's mostly because most people now are addicted to technology, so they're in their phones. They're in their phone 90% of the day, so they're going to be reading some of that time.
Well, going back on what John just said, that we get through most of our knowledge through memes and stuff. I do the same thing because I will subconsciously just go through my phone on Instagram and I'll see a post by Sports Center where one of the ones I most think of right now is that LeBron James had a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks or whatever it was. And it's like, I would have never known that without looking at Instagram.
Right.
And then obviously Joe Biden falling up the stairs. I would have never saw that unless it was Instagram with him just getting the meme treatment.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you look at some of these very old societies, and I'm talking about like old ancient Egyptian societies, old Celtic societies, a lot of their written works that aren't carved in stone. Obviously, they didn't have computers or stuff then, but a lot of the written paper material is now gone. And we do a lot in recycling materials. I think that the United States still saves a copy of all of the newspapers printed and a physical copy as an archive. But even that, you think of 20, 30 years from now, degradation to old paper, everything trying to be digitized and moving forward, but that still requires space and a place and technology, electricity. There's a lot of costs in storing knowledge, and we're compounding on that so fast. It doesn't make sense anymore, except for some of these novels, to really have paper as a means of communication anymore. Just my 2 cents on it. I think it's whiskey talking.
Well, no, and that's fine because a lot of things can be done just through digitally, like what you just said. But why do we need half the times when I go to the grocery store, the ABC store tonight, for instance, when I bought that bottle of tequila, hey, do you want your receipt? No, I don't care. I don't need it.
No.
And that's just wasted thermal paper. I mean, yeah, well, and all they did was just throw it in the trash. So,
Right.
and half the times when you purchase, if you go through Apple Pay or you just tap your card, like a lot of your obviously will go or purchases will go show up digitally on your bank statement.
Nope. Your credit card statement has, unless you're going to cash, and I'll send a link for that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if the United States goes and removes the $1, $5, and $10 bills, similar to what happened in India. So India took a lot of their low cash bills and got rid of them. They're no longer in circulation. They're like, if it's not of a sufficient amount, we're not going to deal with it, and you won't either. And they gave everyone, I think, a year to transition their money over either into a digital format or you get to eat it. You can keep it as a collector if you want.
So when you say digital format, are you talking about Bitcoin or
just like if it's in your bank and you swipe your card, the cost of goods and services like bread didn't go up, but you're like, okay, I have let's say if it happened in America for ease of use and dollar for dollar, if they got rid of tens and below, and you went and you were trying to get $20 in gas, and you are $15 in gas, and you have a 20, they're going to be like, you just have to pay digitally because I don't have a 5 to give you change. You're like, okay, fine. So you start going everything through card, and this was from the Indian perspective to reduce the amount of untaxable exchanges, so that there was more accountability and records and things like that. And they said it was, again, a part of the war on drugs that has been wildly successful here in the United States. And, just being able to track everything, but it does remove this need for paper products. It gets rid of this idea that we need to have something physical other than 2 or 3 cards that identify who we are, where our bank account is, and where we slave away to make a dollar so it can be used to purchase fine products like Red's apple cider, the Rock's tequila, or a Lafroig that I still can't pronounce. Cardis
B.
That's it. Cardis B. Oh, Jesus.
Cardis B.
Cardis B.
Do you, all right. Can I ask questions?
Chime in, Devin.
Yeah.
Or is this just for is this your podcast? So you ask questions or I can ask questions?
No, this is a free for all,
so
dude. This is a free country, man.
What are y'all's thoughts on, I just said Cardis B. What are y'all's thoughts on Cardi B? Go.
On her music?
Cardi B. Just Cardi B in general. About her being in politics, her being a prominent voice for a lot of people. What are your opinions on Cardi B?
You want to go first, Jonathan, or you want me to go?
Go ahead, Jonathan.
All right.
Well, I got some thoughts. I'll go.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Cardi B, what is she the girl that sings WAP?
WAP, yes.
That is correct, sir.
Are we allowed to say that acronym on here? Can we say that?
Fuck like 4 times, Devin.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right, Devin, this is this is a freedom of a podcast. You can say anything and you want to.
Okay.
Like, I don't care.
All right.
YouTube can cancel it, but Chris won't.
Yeah, I mean, if they choose to take it down because of X reason, whatever. But anyway, it's her right to make whatever music she wants to make, and I don't have any reason with that. And if she wants to objectify women and herself as having wet ass pussy, that's fine, because I don't think there's, obviously other guy rappers will objectify women in their songs.
Well, I think, and just from the objectify perspective and chime in on that, from her perspective, it's not, and that's the argument that's been made, is that it's not the objectification because she is saying that this is who I am proud of this, and moving forward. It's an interesting concept, and it's the difference from sexual empowerment versus objectification, like you're saying. Whether or not you agree with it, that's a different story entirely. But she's saying like, hey, my stuff's great because I think, who was that guy? Does the podcast, but he said he likes the vaginas to be quite dry.
What?
And oh God, who is that guy? He
Would that even work?
really no.
Sounds like it'd be painful.
Okay. I don't even think. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it'd work.
I mean, I have no problem with her making the music she wants to. Am I a fan of it? I mean, for meme culture and fun times, yeah, it's kind of funny to talk about. But I'm not a Cardi B guy that's going to sit there and jam out to it.
I think I was more referring to the fact that she interviewed. I guess he's now current President Biden. The fact that she interviewed him before he was president.
What do you wait?
Do you think she should be? Her opinion should count in politics?
Well, I mean,
because she has a rather large fan base. She probably has a bunch of followers on Instagram.
Well,
do you think what she says, a rapper, a female rapper, which I guess that doesn't matter, but a rapper, does that matter?
Well, I mean, I think her opinion counts as much as the next person. I mean, it's almost, LeBron James, he doesn't mind throwing himself into the mix on politics too, which, I mean, they may use their athleticism or artistic abilities to.
I guess it's just the fact that a lot of people look up to them, and then they're gonna consider their opinion over somebody that would have a better opinion or they would have more knowledge on the subject.
Well, I think
me personally, I just don't think that they should have any role in politics.
Well, I mean, they have the right to say what they want to say, but I think with us talking right here, I mean, okay, well, Cardi B said X, Y, and Z. Opinion, okay, fine, that's fine. I'll just ignore it.
My opinion, I think she should stick to rapping, and then LeBron, he should stick to dribbling a basketball. That is just my opinion.
But, I mean, they can say that about anything. I mean, you could say, well, Chris should just stick to podcasting, which, I mean, I'm a moron when it comes to politics and things of that nature, but you still have a right to say what you want to say.
I have to agree with that one.
I agree.
And it doesn't matter what you do as a profession.
I guess it's just more they have a very large fan base, and a lot of people are looking up to them, listening to their opinion on every matter that comes up.
I mean, if you look at it, professors from universities can say they agree with Cardi B, or they could say they agree with Drake or whoever you want to say, but it's just based on just because they're a rapper or they're a professor, they still might have the same opinion on something. But if you look at it in a view of, just because of their profession, shouldn't hold any standard. I mean, because I'm pretty sure, who was it? Somebody was talking about there are tons of people or artists that are in prison right now who could have been the next Drake, but they just got a bad chosen.
They made a lot of bad decisions. Made
a few bad decisions. Or got dealt the bad hand of cards, and they ended up in prison. But they were probably one of the better artists ever going to be. But I don't think their opinion should not amount to anything. I mean, just because of who they are, what they do for a living.
Popularity going into politics is something that has garnered. I mean, you think of California's greatest governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Obviously, he had a role in a few films prior.
Sure.
I heard Ronald Reagan actually was an actor before playing his greatest role as president. Some people don't think that was his best performance, but I digress. Popularity and politics go hand in hand. I think, have gotten to the point we don't agree with that because we want to say inherently people should be intelligent enough to go out and say, well, your opinion on politics is heard, but your fandom shouldn't influence politics. But unfortunately it does, because there's people who are rabid fans for anything. And, if Cardi B wants to go out and educate herself via the fact that she has time, money, and the ability or not, and then speak to it, it's her right. And then people have to either
definitely
figure out if they're going to believe it or not.
Yeah, it's definitely her right. I just think, I hope that most people would not actually listen to it.
Well, I mean, you're going to have people who will listen to it just because they're true fans of Cardi B and they don't care what else is said. Or you're going to have some people who will say, Well, that's okay, but I also think that there's something different to that too. I mean, I think it just depends on your situation and also depends on the person. But
I guess it's yes. I personally don't think that they should take advantage of their popularity to push a view. But yes, they definitely have a right to do it. And as John was saying, people have been doing it for a long time. Ronald Reagan, whoever it may be.
yeah, Jesse the Body, he was governor of Minnesota.
Yeah, I just wish people would educate themselves more and not listen to a rapper.
Let's look at
That's the struggle, man.
Too, that he has the biggest podcast in the world, and a lot of people go to him for their news or views on politics, and compared to CNN or Fox News or whatever else is out there. I mean, and that's what a lot of the argument is that CNN and those people hate Joe Rogan just because they go to him versus them because of who he has on his podcast versus his views on life, and just because he has 1 million views or whatever he has, just for
I think people like Joe Rogan because he's just a real guy and he's on there. He's actually listening, trying to get what does this person actually believe.
Correct.
And he doesn't go. He's one of the least biased people out there. He goes in there willing to understand what this person is arguing, and he lets them make their argument. He listens, and every now and then his opinion might change or it may not. But either way, he allows the speaker to put their opinion out there.
You're exactly correct. Devin.
That's why people love him.
Exactly. I mean, exactly what you just said. He'll say, "I'm not married to any of ideas, and if I'll allow you to speak your opinion," but then he'll also play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why do you think that way?"
But obviously, he probably has his own personal biases. But he allows everybody to speak, get their opinion out there, and you hear their arguments.
Exactly, and that's what and I'm game for all that because you want to see. Because just because I may think this way, obviously, Devin, you might think something different, and obviously John might think something too. And then if your opinion is completely different than me, then okay, well, I like the way you said that better. That you make more sense of what I'm saying right now, and that's cool.
Yeah,
and
I like it.
And Cardi B, if she has something to say more than I do, then I would listen. I mean, I'm a moron. I'm a regular guy just trying to do something big and just trying to talk stuff out and have an excuse to talk shit with my friends and have a few shots of tequila and see what it goes. But, I mean, I would not – if I met Cardi B in a bar or something, I would like to say, hey, what's up? Hey.
Some of that WAP.
Yeah, what's up with that WAP, girl? I got some had.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really think she would sway your political opinions, though. I mean, yeah, you'd be attracted.
Well, if I was probably to meet Cardi B in a bar, my first thought would be, let's talk politics.
I don't think that would be a good go-to there.
No, I'd be like, hey.
Like, what up, girl?
You checking out this gun show, girl? What's up?
Sure. What you feeling on the Second Amendment?
Yeah.
You ain't got a WAP now, but you will later.
Yeah,
right.
that's probably what it would, or I'd be too starstruck probably and be a little pussy and wouldn't know what to do with myself.
You'd be an LAP instead of WAP. I'm with you.
Well, yeah, that was a good question, Devin. That was a good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
Going into, I was going to make a terrible joke into a segue from that, but using your, political power and influence and, going into cancel. Yeah, that's right. Going into the segue of people who use popularity and opinion and just going with it. That's how they filled up the trains and said, get in the train, in the 40s. And we think about this being 80 years ago, but they're now the go-to standard bad guys, them or I guess the Nazi Germany and Middle Eastern religious zealots are the two big go-tos for a lot of bad guys now. And I guess used to be the Russians in the 80s and 90s, but we went away from that. But you get this whole cancel culture because now people are making jokes about tragedy or making comparisons. So, I said that the news doesn't give news anymore. They're just trying to sell toilet paper. And cancel culture is like, well, you've hurt my feelings and made me feel bad. So now I'm going to ruin your life and career by saying, well, no one's going to watch you and we're going to make sure that you get canceled. And it was the idea of civil discourse, what we're having right now, saying, oh, I don't agree with your opinion, but here's what I think. And like, oh, that's great. And then growth from that is now no longer popular or relevant. And it's why we get things, like flat earthers. I always like to throw in one flat earthers every single time I talk with Chris.
Space is fake too.
Space is real. The best part is, I think it might have been Elon Musk said, why do you believe that Mars is round and the Earth is flat? And he posted this to the flat earthers, the Instagram page, and said, well, Mars has been observed to be round. And it's like, really? But you get this idea. People don't want to educate themselves anymore. They don't want to go out and do the due diligence. They want to put in, what is the sentence that makes me feel right? Enter. And then you have the top page of Google, because nobody goes 2-3 pages deep in Google. And, they're pulling up information like, well, look at this. This guy said that. Well, who's that guy? I don't know, but he's obviously an expert. It's like it's a guy that had access, or a girl that had access to a computer and said some things.
Well, my problem, I think if somebody wants to be a flat earther, let them be a flat earther. If they think there's this big ocean out there and there's big waterfalls on the end of it, that's great. But they should have the right to have that opinion. They shouldn't be canceled, even if that is the most retarded thing in the world. Wait, I probably shouldn't say retarded.
No, it's fine. They say it on Joe Rogan.
Okay.
So
okay,
you're not calling anybody.
If that's the most ignorant thing, and if that is the most ignorant thing in the world, let them have that opinion. You can go to the top of a mountain and you can see the curvature of the earth. It's ridiculous. But anyway, if they want to have that opinion, and by them having that opinion, it influences other people to be idiots, let them have it, but don't cancel them. Let them have that ignorant opinion.
I agree. And I've had, here's a question for you though. At what point does public health, and Chris will like this one. So at what point does public health become more important than personal opinion? So there's a lot of people, anti-vaxxers, the COVID vaccine. I think the first time I got them on, Chris was talking about, getting the COVID vaccine. And he's like, would you do it? And I was like, me personally, I'm just trying to get in line for the one-shotter. I think it's the Johnson & Johnson. And with the, I stay at home, but I do travel between multiple home locations. So for me, it's basically like, where am I going to be long enough to get one shot and be done? And, I've got a lot of my family have done either the 1 or 2 shots. I think all of them did the 2 shots, and then friends, of course. But let's say you're an anti-vaxxer and we're like, hey, here's a vaccine. This is 100% effective, just to throw it out there, because that's how we got rid of smallpox. Everybody pretty much got inoculated. And now I think there's only 2 places, Russia and the United States, that store the original smallpox virus. And all of this is wrapped up into the question of, how do we as a society globally, not just the US, draw a line between what is okay to say because it's your right to your opinion, and what is actually not okay to say because it could damage public health? And I'm not expecting you to answer that. That's really a big question that's been muddled around in my mind, and it's
a huge question. I
think I have a kind of basic answer.
Go ahead.
I think anybody should be able to say whatever they want, as long as they are not calling for personal harm to somebody else.
I agree with that.
That sounds. I can call you whatever I want, and if it hurts your feelings, too bad. Is it really? Unless I actually call to physical violence to you, I don't. I don't see.
Well, what about my emotional health?
See, we can go down a whole dark road on that, but
then it's like, okay, well, what words actually affect somebody's emotion? It's just a never-ending. It's what is it called? A slippery slope. Like, yep. Where do you actually? Where is the line drawn? What word actually affects somebody's mental health? And that's the problem.
There isn't a line anymore.
Then people start taking advantage of it, and it's like, well, he called me stupid. Is that bad? And where do you draw the line? That's
It's
the
like,
problem.
yeah, well, he's a dick.
Yeah, where is the line?
There
Where's
isn't
the
a
line
line anymore because you said stupid. Then somebody will say,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, they said idiot," and then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
where's the next line? Where's the next line?
Yes, that's the point. Where do you draw the line? And nobody can answer that question. So that's why.
No.
Well,
That's why unless somebody calls for actual physical violence or physical harm to somebody else,
Well, this is my
then you
thoughts on
cannot.
it.
Then you can say whatever you want.
That going back kind of Cardi B and rap and stuff, when they put out a CD or I'm just probably talking age here now, or digitally whatever on Apple or however you get your music nowadays. Not
They just
LimeWire
released music,
CDs.
Chris.
how them kids listen to music now? Anyway, when they put out a song or whatever, it's gonna have, even when I put out this podcast, it'll say explicit on there. So if you don't want to listen to certain words or that that you define as you don't, bad words, then okay, well then get the clean version. And it kind of goes back into the day that, if you didn't listen to what Richard Pryor would say as a comedian, okay, then don't listen to him because
He's
exactly right.
You know what he's about, but you don't have to cancel him just because this is his style of, comedic art or whatever, however you want to put it. Just don't listen to it. Same.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the reason I didn't do this, but video games made ratings for certain games. Like, hey, this is for everyone. This is for mature people only. And same reason we have for movies. You know what you're getting into if you watch these.
Back to video games. Didn't there? There used to be one that was higher than mature. What was that? Y'all remember?
NA, not NA.
No,
there was some volleyball game.
It was like UE or hold on.
Adults only.
Something like that. I don't even think they have that anymore.
M18. I think it's it.
M18.
Let me check. Hold on.
Yeah, check that out.
Rating pending. So there's mature, a rating pending, and adults only. That's AO.
I haven't. Have y'all seen that in the last 15 years?
I've never seen an adults only.
The worst game I've ever played was like GTA 5, and that's
and that was just mature.
Mature. So I don't think I've ever played a game that's had a higher rating.
I just remember being a kid and seeing there was some volleyball, XXX volley something, and it was like,
oh, that's Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
Yeah, that was what it was.
What was it
I remember
about?
that one.
What did it have in it?
I guess it's just volleyball.
Playing volleyball naked?
Probably.
No, fun fact, but they spent Dead or Alive is a huge fighting franchise, but all of the
okay, never mind. Go ahead.
All of the guys who created this, and girls too, spent a great deal of time in the physics engine that would allow these extremely curvy ladies to have adequate and almost extra realistic bounce. Okay, so we get where we're going with this.
Yes.
Then they made a volleyball game with the same engine, and they're constantly doing spikes and serves, and it's basically just jiggle, 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 jiggle the whole time. and someone saw that, and just like the Superman, the one before Henry Cavill, who was he's the gay Superman. Help me out here.
Henry Cavill.
No. Henry Cavill is the Witcher. Who was the guy before him?
Christopher Reeves.
No, the one after him. It was like one Superman Returns. Brandon Ruth in Superman Returns. Apparently his jank was so big they had to digitally edit to make it smaller.
What?
Because some lady saw it in the theater and she's like, "You can't have that around my kids. He's too well endowed."
Dude,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I'll pull that one up because that was one of those things. It's like, could you imagine saying that, sir, we're going to have to spend another $300,000 on digital editing for the movie? Wow, I thought it was great. That's
definitely the random fact of the night here.
Yeah.
Well, talking about volleyball, I mean, when you look at college volleyball right now, do you see the shorts those women wear? Have you ever watched a college?
Are they wearing shorts? I mean,
it's basically you might as well a bikini bottom.
Yeah,
they got little cheeks hanging out. So how can you? I mean, and that's perfectly fine. That's a standard. And that was almost the way back in the old school NBA days too. With they had the almost,
Larry Bird.
Yeah,
Bird.
Larry Bird
Yeah.
style, wearing basically whitey tighties.
Larry Bird wearing the booty shorts.
So, and now the guys got longer, but still, volleyball girls, they don't mind wearing the shorty shorts, booty shorts.
They're extremely snug.
And that's perfectly acceptable. They don't get any grief for that. Nobody's saying, no, them shorts are too short for volleyball now.
It's all about who's making the rule and who wants to call foul. And it's just, again, to Devin's point about people saying, well, I'm offended. And where do you draw the line? And you have to be willing to both give and understand that you're going to apply a little common sense. You're going to say, hey, obviously this isn't good to be heard or to say, but we've ran into an issue of why we no longer have the common sense boundary. You can say I'm offended and there's no repercussions. There's no, all of the onus for any activity is put on people who've done it in the past. That's why cancel culture is so popular. You can go and ruin someone's career and nothing happens to these people. It's not like they're getting canceled out of high profile jobs, because it's not people who are in high profile jobs. It's not movie actors and directors who are saying, oh, we've got to remove these people. It's not the executives who are after the fact removing them, because, you got Johnny Depp and that whole thing that's going through with him and Amber Heard. He got pulled out of all the new Harry Potters, the Fantastic Creatures thing. And now Amber Heard, I think, got pulled off of Aquaman 2. They're going to replace her. But there's nothing in the culture that's like, hey, you said something, this person is lost out on their life. Well, what's going on with yours? Like, well, you can't take anything from me. I'm just here and I'm angry and this isn't okay. It's like, yeah, but is it really just not okay? Or you didn't have anything to do on a Tuesday?
Do you guys know who Bill Burr is?
Yes, that was good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
was it the Oscars or Academy last weekend?
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
But he made a joke saying that there was some piano solo before he came out, and he came out and said, does anybody want to kill themselves as much as I do right now after that? But it was just that's his comedic.
Anybody that's seen Bill Burr knows
that's his style. That's how he does.
But that's what comedians do, is they kind of draw the line of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable.
You're exactly right, Devin. Exactly.
That's what comedians
Even
do.
if they don't believe something, they'll say something to what you're saying that
Well, it's like
just to get a response out of people.
Take Dave Chappelle, for instance. There was some joke he made about Michael Jackson and Macaulay Culkin. It was something on the lines of...
Was it on the Chappelle show?
Yeah, it was one of his more recent things. And if you just look at it from, it sounds horrible, but he has a very good point. It's something like Michael Jackson had to be innocent because you take Macaulay Culkin, just a superstar kid, and Macaulay Culkin says Michael did not. Yeah, he was it. He would have been the prom
cat's
pet, I guess, a pedophile's dream.
Yeah, he was the pedophile goal.
And Macaulay Culkin says he did nothing to me. So I don't think maybe he says something about Michael Jackson wasn't a pedophile because he would have raped Macaulay Culkin and he didn't.
Right.
And that's terrible, but he has a good point. And yes,
exactly. That's what
he's
pushing the boundaries there.
Well, comedy has traditionally always push the boundaries, and that's what they're supposed to do. You're looking at, Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, old Eddie Murphy, not now Eddie Murphy, were really pushing into making jokes about racism, not because the jokes about, hey, being racist is funny and cool. No, it's because these things are funny because they're so sad. And you look at, the old Greek tragedies and comedies in Greek are almost reversed and how they're applied. A comedy would usually end up in tears. And now we use comedy as something that's super funny. Comedians especially, have always used sarcasm and terrible, terrible circumstances. I think it was Louis C.K. before he got given the old pull in front of people. He Hold 1 second.
He never got caught. Actually,
I got a couple thoughts on that too.
Well,
We'll go back. Continue your thought, John.
he was talking about the age of consent and versus the age of being able to drink alcohol, and he says, only in the United States can a girl who's 18 years old go and perform a video of various, undress and sexual acts with multiple other men and have terrible things done. And he gets pretty explicit. And he said, and after she's done, she can't even go and get a beer. And if there's anyone after 3 or 4 hours of 5 dudes going ham on her needs a drink, it's her. And it's a joke to say, look how we say this is okay and this isn't okay because of some dumb shit law that was passed years ago. And that's what comedians do. They make things funny and palatable so that you can have this discourse where people can communicate and say, hey, I thought this was funny, but it is kind of fucked up. Maybe we should change something about that. Maybe we as a group should do something about that. But now it's like, well, that joke hurt my feelings. So, okay, well, why did it hurt your feelings? Nobody's asking like, why this is triggering someone. It's like, well, I was triggered because secretly I'm an asshole and I like being able to keep with the status quo. Or, well, actually, something terrible happened to me and I didn't talk about it and maybe I should. There's all the reasons as to why, but people don't want to take responsibility. They just want to be able to quickly blame someone that hurt their feelings. And, it's part of being a well-rounded and functional adult is being able to go out and say, here's information that I agree with or don't. Again, going back to, whether or not we should agree with politicians, what they think and what actors and comedians and they think on politics. Do a little homework, do a little research, figure your shit out. But yeah.
John, going on what you just said, Devin, you could chime in on this too. Do you think people will blame other people for their insecurities or for their reasons being wrong just because it makes them feel better that, oh, this is your fault, it's not mine? I hope I worded that
yes,
right. They
yes.
don't want. It's always somebody else's fault. It's not their.
I feel like that's just human nature for people to do that, and in politics especially. That's what every president does. It doesn't matter if you hated Trump or if you hate Biden, whatever. They both do that. The things they're going to blame everybody else
but themselves
for what they're doing wrong. Yes.
Yep.
That's every single one. That's just human nature.
Yeah, you have to take ownership. Hey, it's not Devin or John's fault. It's my
fault. It comes down to I need to take responsibility for me. I am Devin Dalton. Let me take responsibility for what I do.
Yeah.
And then if I become a perfect person, then I can tell somebody else what to do. Mm-hmm. But until then,
is it just so easy just to be negative and towards other people and yourself in this day and age, and it's definitely it's much easier to do that, and that's nobody's ever willing to just take responsibility for what you can
they
just
did
blame
wrong.
it on so many different things.
Yes.
Well, dude, McDonald's makes people fat.
I mean to cut you off, Devin. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Let Big Dub speak.
It's that idea that McDonald's makes people fat. It's not the fact that they're sitting their happy asses in their car driving around being like, well, I'll take 3 double cheeseburgers and a milkshake, and I guess I really don't want a large fry. I'll get a small fry. And well, what you do to physically work out and get better? It's like, well, I'm busy, and I'm guilty of it personally. So me as a bigger guy, I'm going out and not doing my due diligence for getting into that crisp cutout, super good looking Thor from, not fat Thor. I think I'm there now, but pre-Thor. But there's this idea that it's okay for me to blame another group or another organization. It's like, well, they made me fat. They did this, because you don't have to do any sort of growth or introspection. And it's a child's mindset. And I would say that, and this may get me canceled off your show, but when you see that people, when you see people have these complaints, it's coming from a child's mindset. It is not coming from a place of, there is a problem. How do I fix this? This is, my toy is broken. Let me blame something else. Not that, I slammed my toy against a wall. They should have made the toy better. I'm fat because I was given fatty foods and continued to keep stuffing them down my face. I am stupid because even though we have the largest ability in the world to have knowledge at our fingertips, we can talk to Google. Our lazy asses don't even have to type on a keyboard anymore.
Correct.
You can ask Alexa, you can ask Google, you can ask Cortana, which no one does, and I'm sorry, nobody speaks to her. You can talk to Siri.
That's valid.
You can talk to them, ask them a question, and get information on the internet. You can go on the internet. This is the modern day Library of Alexandria, and nobody wants to spend the extra 5 minutes because fuck it. Why would I want to? I'm too busy trying to find out where I can buy cheap toilet paper because the news says I'm going to be running out because the wrong canal is blocked.
John, you are correct. I mean, a lot of people.
You're very correct.
A lot of people will say that, oh, I can't believe I'm living in this day and age and this is the worst. Hey, but we have the best things that you could ever have compared to 1930 or even before or 1950 or 60. I mean, look what you just said. We can just sit here and I can ask my phone, what's 2 plus 2 if I wanted to. And I don't even have to use them buttons, you know?
What's tomorrow's weather?
Exactly.
What's the best way to cook an egg? I mean, like literally any question
life
you want.
is so easy. I can ask Google to turn the lights down for me if I wanted to.
Dude, it's right there.
and I don't get it. It's not hard anymore. We've in this. I mean, we might be going off topic here, but we could be going into a weird direction in life where, you know, Joe Rogan has said this before. We become these perfect alien species where we have no muscle and big heads. But the rest of our bodies is slim and nothing.
We're not doing enough to exercise this though, but
or you know, Elon Musk wants to put that Neuralink into our heads and make us even smarter. And he's called us a cyborg with our phones, which I'm
with him. But I've seen what the Tesla autopilot's done a couple times, and you know, it's going to be that Windows software shit, man. Let it have some trial runs because there's going to be somebody like, hey, I just got my new neural implant, walking down the street and shit their pants. I mean, that's going to happen. And we're going to need to move through that. We're going to need to move through that and say that's a part of the bumps and scrapes that we get so that we can have neural implants that allow the blind to see again, the crippled to walk again, or for the first time ever. I mean, we're doing things with cochlear implants that have never been done, even in the last 6-7 years, that, you know, we're attaching nerves.
Did you say cochlear implants? What are we talking
about? Yes, cochlear is cochlear. Oh, Jesus, I said that wrong. Probably cochlear.
Cochlear.
More here,
There's
not here.
Okay, I thought we were going downward, not upward.
Yeah, so no, for the inner ear, there was actually there was a procedure done. It was the first time, and I want to say it was in 2018. There was a child that was born without the nerve that went to the brain that allowed them to process hearing. And they attached it was a wire, obviously, to a mechanism, but it was attached to the part of the brain so they could hear sounds. Now, I don't know the quality. I don't know anything like that. But for the first time, they could hear something. It's a really beautiful video. See if I can look it up. Because watching a very, very young child, confused, obviously, because this had never happened before. And the idea of pursuing these sorts of scientific endeavors makes me proud to be a human. And then I hear shit about like, well, they hurt my feelings because I'm sitting at home and I feel triggered because I haven't done anything with my life, but no one needs to remind me that I haven't. It's like, maybe they do. If you're not happy with where you are, maybe you need a reminder that you could do something. Like, you don't need to obviously be pushing to a point to where you're like, fuck it, I need to go kill myself. Well, that's not healthy. But people sometimes need that push to say, hey, it's okay. You learn by failing. Like, nobody walks the first time. You trip, stumble, fall, you scrape your knees, you cry a little bit, you get up and you keep pushing. But we're not comfortable with that anymore. But
at the end of the day, you're just going to be sleeping with yourself. I mean, you're going to be in your head, and it's up to you.
And going what you said, learn by failing, John, is that one thing with me and my whole, fitness, CrossFit career is that I've learned to be humble and learn to, I'm not going to win every workout. And there's always going to be somebody that's probably better than me. And that's also what also makes me better too at the same time is that okay, I didn't do really well in this workout and I lost. I took my L. And it happens. But I learned even from doing podcasts too. I may have pronounced something wrong. Had a
You said Cockler instead of Cochler.
yeah, and like it happens. But I think that's when you got to learn from your mistakes, and which I try to do to also make me better for tomorrow, hopefully. And which some people just take their L and move on. All right. So another example. I mean, sometimes I'll buy clothes off the internet and get them and they don't fit or whatever, and I don't send them back, going back because I don't care and I don't want to deal with the whole shipping back stuff, and I'll just take my L and move on. Fuck it. All right, I guess I'll just give it to Goodwill. I don't know. So anyway, I don't know where I was going with that thought, but anyway, just take your L's. And
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Take that L.
Yeah, you take your L and you move on and you grow from it. I try to grow from it personally.
Taking the L doesn't mean that you're a piece of shit. And I think that people, one of the biggest things that I learned, this is coming as a child out of the 80s and 90s, you're not your job. Your inherent worth is not in your paycheck. It is not your ability to go and earn for someone else or yourself. Your worth as a human being is how you live your life and how you're able to interact and provide value to others. And often because it's easy to say, well, Jeff Bezos is the greatest man, and there for a while Elon Musk was the greatest because they had the most dollars attached to their name. It's like, well, how many people have they positively impacted? How many have they negatively impacted? How many do you? What's your audience? If you're a great guy or girl 90% of the time, and you see 10 people a day, okay, 9 people are happy, 1 person's pissed off. Okay. If you see 100,000 people, well, you've pissed off 10,000 people a day. That's impressive. But being able to take an L and know that it doesn't, if you're growing from it, you're not losing anything from your self-worth.
Real quick, can I interrupt you?
Go ahead.
I'm taking an L right now to my bladder. I really need to go to the bathroom.
We'll go pee. Me and John will talk. Go ahead.
Take the L. Take the L.
Bladder.
Yeah, take the L. Don't take a knee. But I think that hopefully, I think that the quarantine is going to help people kind of focus on themselves. I think that there's obviously the troll backlash, people being on there like, oh my God, I can't believe that. There was Gamergate that happened, and that was a shameful time for all of us.
Gamergate? What do you mean?
Oh, I don't even want to go into this shit, but Gamergate,
the Reader's Digest version, I guess.
Gamergate was basically where every guy from that, I guess, really nerdy guys from the 80s and 90s were like, oh my God, I just wish cute girls would love to play video games. Well, there was a lot of girls who were like, hey, I want to learn how to play video games. Or I grew up playing video games. Just because people think it's for guys, it doesn't mean that. And there was a lot of very aggressive internet trolling that was, just detrimental to the female gaming community. And it was called Gamergate. I will link to that because it was a dark period. And I think we're moving through it some ways, but it was awful. And it was just, basically extremely derogative processes and thoughts and actions and activities toward female gamers. And it even expanded to non-heterosexual male gamers. It was rough, and it wasn't.
So they were saying that girls shouldn't be able to play video games?
Shouldn't, can't, and any girl that's trying to play video games is just an attention grabbing or grubbing. I think whore.
Who
is
said
the vernacular.
Who said this?
I'm catching Chris up on Gamergate.
Do you know about this?
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm sure there are plenty of females that would take advantage of.
Well, that was getting to my next point, is that there is plenty of Twitch streamers that are female or identify as female that make very well just because they are female and they have guys who just love to watch them talk and play video games.
Thirst follows.
But I will
follows.
say,
There you go. Good
I will
point.
say, my sister, shout out Sarah Dalton.
What
There it is.
She does play video games, and I don't think she's trying to take advantage of anybody. So she just
Right,
likes to
and
play
that
video
was Felicia Day. I read her book sometime back whenever it came out. I think it's called Everyone's Weird on the Internet. Great book. And it's about her growing up and being a part of the gaming community, being a sci-fi nerd. She's the cute redheaded chick in Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog. She's done, I think it's called The Gamers, where it's basically a World of Warcraft meme that she talks about. And well, to make a long story short, she talks about Gamergate and some of the negative actions that have happened in her personal life as well as for other people. And she's, again, a fairly popular individual in the gaming community. So it's, again, not to go on the tangent, it was just people talking about what they want and then they get it and then they bitch about having it. It's like, well, oh, you're just watching this cute gamer girl play video games because she's cute, and nobody has a stone to say, yeah, because I'm tired of watching a sweaty old guy do it. She's just as good and she's easier on the eyes.
Well, let me make a quick
ahead,
point.
Devin.
Let me make a quick point. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter who you're watching. Why are you watching somebody else play a video game when you could be playing yourself? Isn't that like the biggest waste of time in the world? Unless you're just watching that game to see what it's like. But why would you watch somebody else play when you could be playing yourself?
Honestly, so you can do something else in the background. One of the I think the Resident Evil remake just came out on Xbox. And I started playing it and was like, I don't give a shit to play this game. But I do want to see how it ends. And I know how it ends. The tyrant gets shot in the chest by a rocket launcher. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, the game's 20 years old. If I just spoiled it for somebody, I'm real sorry. But, I wanted to be able to
on this podcast, sorry.
Yeah, who don't know that.
Sorry.
But the whole point of me watching that was I wanted to be playing, like jamming out some Pokemon while I watched somebody beat the game, and I could look up at it and go, okay, great, and then move on to the next. I don't have to play through the whole game. And game playthroughs have become such a watched commodity that now Netflix, Amazon, they're making video game cartoons that don't suck for a change, because they're like, people are watching other people play video games, because sometimes you play a video game and you don't have the mastery of being able to do it well and smooth, and you're going through and you're like, well, shit, I just really wish I could get past this boss. If I could just move past this area, or, oh, I didn't think to look there. And people will play through a game 2 or 3 times, get this mastery, and they're playing through it like a movie. We sit through 4 hours of the Zack Snyder cut because this was someone that took a mastery level approach. And I think that it's no different for these gamers. Now, there's plenty of gamers that don't know shit, and they do that, but I don't watch them. Other people might, and that's their business. But I think that there's, to your point, Devin, it's kind of like playing basketball versus watching basketball. I personally hate watching basketball. I don't give a shit who wins. I can look at that, one score on Google. I really like playing basketball. My knees and my ankles hate playing basketball, but that's something different entirely. That's age.
Okay. I see your point.
Yeah, and I agree there too, because, again, we watch professional NFL, we watch professional baseball, basketball, whatever, and it's the same way with video games. We'll sit and watch Ninja play, or I have personally, I don't know about you guys, but watch him play Fortnite. And again, why do we watch him when we can do the same thing too? Well, we do the same thing with professional sports.
Yeah, and
that's a fair point.
Yeah, and we can easily do it ourselves. I mean, Devin, you and I have played basketball. I'm sure I probably played with John back in college before too.
You don't remember the beating I gave you, huh?
That's Highlander Village, I guess.
I don't remember that.
But
can you even dribble a basketball, John?
No, but I can shoot the 3, baby. I can shoot that 3.
I mean, it's the same way we're making content. I mean, that I've always watched. I always talk about Joe Rogan on here, but that's the reason I was like, why can I not do this? Let me try it myself, and why not? It's same way, Devin, with your music.
I guess it's just like with a podcast. Like when I will listen to a podcast, it's when I'm working out or I'm doing something else. It's so I can do two things
Right.
at once. But
Exactly.
I can't really,
That's the reason I do audiobooks.
me personally, I don't think I could watch somebody play video games and then also do something else. So to me personally, it's a waste of time. To somebody else, I guess not so much. And I understand how they could do it now that
you're not. Well, if
me.
you're watching somebody play video games, it's really hard to multitask.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You can multitask with a podcast.
Correct.
You can't. I could not multitask while watching Ninja
Devin,
play Fortnite.
Johnny, just pour your
and
shot.
plus,
I'll do a little shot.
and plus, I think Fortnite is
Man,
pretty
I'm
garbage.
just sipping.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Sorry, Devin. I didn't mean to cut you off there. But
No,
yeah, I agree there, right there. Because I'll talk about books. Well, I don't talk about them a lot, but when I do try to read, I do.
You know how to read, bro?
I do audiobooks, and that way
Okay.
because
All
I
right,
can also
audiobooks.
do other shit while I'm having audio.
Yeah.
Like, same way with the podcast. When
Yes.
I'm at work or if I take the Wiener Dogs for a walk, I got whatever in my ears, and I'm more focused in on that way. Even I played the Outriders demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, a night or two ago, and I put a podcast in while I did through the whole first story mission or whatever it is.
So you weren't listening to the story. You're just
no,
playing
and I even did the same way
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Cyberpunk. I was just skipping it while I was just playing mindlessly, subconsciously, whatever you want to call it, while I listened to a podcast. I was like, whatever, I'll just run around and kill people while I do this. So, but yeah, I don't
That's
know.
it.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I that was the kind of point that I was trying to make, but yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know where I'm going. with
Yeah,
this.
I
I'll just
think
stop.
you can multitask
Take a
with
shower
one
here
of
with
them.
John.
You can't multitask.
All right. Hey, well, all three. One, two,
Whammy.
hat trick.
Hat trick, nice. But yeah, I mean, but I agree though that I will watch a Twitch stream or something just because if I'm interested in the game.
Yeah, that is the only reason I would ever watch somebody play a video game is to
But
see if the game is actually good.
But you know,
That's just me.
Ninja's the only guy I can think of. I'm sure there's a couple other Fortnite players or Call of Duty players that people just love watching them play. Is the same as we might do our favorite artists, music, or why do you watch a concert? Because
Mastery level. People enjoy it, and sometimes it doesn't have to be mastery level. You know, I think we'll talk about Joe Rogan one more time. I'm on Instagram, and I see whenever he posts one, I think he's at 1612 for his podcast. To develop a skill takes roughly 2,000 hours, which is ironic because the amount of if you work a 40-hour work week every, the full year, and you take 2 weeks off, it's 80 hours. So 1 year you can acquire a skill, roughly, for most skills. To acquire mastery takes over 10,000 hours, and that's 5 years.
shit.
If you think about it, but that's full time. So if you do something with if you work 8 hours and then you apply your next 8 hours to something that you're trying to get mastery on, and then you have 8 hours for your rest, eating, etc., you can acquire that within 5 years. But you've really got to know where your time lies and where you're putting your energy into to be able to better yourself. I think that's another reason why cancel culture is so popular and why people aren't doing their due diligence is because here, we're working as Americans, 60, 70, 80 hours. A lot of us are, and that doesn't give you the time to develop new skills. I mean, how much time have I put toward my guitar playing?
0.
Right there.
All right.
Right there. The goose.
How much have I?
Yeah, Devin,
I don't know.
that's a good question.
About 5 years.
You've been playing
Okay.
guitar for 5 years?
Well, I tried about 5 years, a little bit. I'd say I've been playing for about 2 years or maybe a year and a half, like a little bit harder.
So how long did it take you just to actually start?
Um,
Or how did you learn? Take
I've
us into
probably
depth
got-
on that. To somebody like me who's never played guitar, how did you learn? Because I've known you forever, dude. So.
I just went on. I got a guitar. Just went on YouTube. I listened to other people. Well, first I have to know the song.
Okay.
Like I have to know the lyrics. I have to know. That's how I am because I'm a singer. I'm not a guitar player. I have to know the lyrics. I feel like I kind of have like a, you know how people have a photographic memory. I kind of have like a autonomic, whatever. The same thing. It's like auto. I can hear people. Like I hear somebody's voice. Okay.
Audiographic? I'm going to Google this.
Is it somebody
going?
when somebody can just play the piano just by hearing it?
I don't know, but
Is
it's
that
like
what you're
I can
talking?
hear. No, I can just like I can hear somebody's voice exactly how it sounds, and then so I use that. I imagine what they sound like, and then
Echoic. It's called an echoic or
I have that-
auditory memory.
Yes.
Yep.
I do that.
Nice, dude.
And
DD.
then I know the song perfectly. I hear them, and then I try to sing it, and then I go to like what's it called, ultimateguitar.com, and you see the chords. You learn the chords. Well, first you gotta learn the basic chords: C, G, D, all those basic ones. You learn all the chords. You learn the chord pattern, and then you just go from there. You keep I keep practicing the song over and over again until you can match the words to the chords, and there you go.
So, was this something you always wanted to do, or is this just something that, hey, I'm kind of bored, let me pick it up?
It's just something to clear my head. That's about it.
What do you mean clear your head?
Throughout the day, my head's just going like this. You know, there's just all these thoughts going through my head. It's a way for me to let all those thoughts
To get them out?
Just they go like this.
I get that.
That's it.
It's kind of
They
the reason I
just
started this
go away.
podcast.
That's exactly right. It's just something to, if there's ever a time when I'm bored, just pull that guitar out and just start playing it.
Well, what is your
Nice.
inspiration?
Inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, was there like, oh man, I really love the way Chris Stapleton plays, or
like, is there a
Or I love
person that
Dan and
inspires
Shay.
me, or
I love
not?
Cardi B.
No, Dan and Shay, not really Cardi B. I would say Chris Stapleton. He kind of inspires me because he seems like, no offense, he's kind of an ugly dude. Can we agree with like he's?
Well, I'm
he's
pretty
an
sure
ugly,
he's probably not listening to this, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you
anyway.
don't have to-
He's an ugly dude. He's not somebody. He's not a guy that everybody's attracted to, like Justin.
Would you say he's classically ugly? Is that what you're looking for?
Okay, yeah, he's
Classically ugly.
classically ugly.
he's classically ugly. He's not like a Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, one of those guys.
He's just a dude named Chris.
He's a real dude. He sings songs about real things. He shows you can hear every bit of emotion in his voice when he sings, and I like Chris Stapleton.
It's great.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I
He's a
love
good
his
guy.
music.
You know that everything he's singing, he's felt it. He's just a real guy.
Yeah, when I first heard about Chris Stapleton, it was Tennessee Whiskey with my man JT, and then that's what took me down that road. When I think they sung it. I guess I always get the Grammys and Oscars confused. Which one's music and actors? But
Oscars is actor, Grammy because the Grammy phone. Remember, it's called a gramophone, but Grammy was short for
there
gramophone.
you go.
Do people still watch those?
I only watch highlights.
I thought you were trying to reach through the screen to pat me on the head. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wow, look at this guy. Like,
Just let me touch his face.
How long have we been going here, Chris?
I don't know. I don't care.
1 hour and 15 minutes.
Well, there you go.
Not that I was keeping track.
But, well, I mean, we're in good conversation, so that's the reason I don't like to hate. So, all right. So, Devin, tell me.
All right,
So,
ask me.
is country your go-to genre?
To be honest with you, I would say I picked country because it's easiest and because the audience is kind of simple. They're the easiest to.
Oh shit!
They're kind of simple.
Oh,
I mean, yes. They're
I'm
kind of
with you for the same reasons. There's a comedian. Have you guys heard of? It's not Bill Burr. It's Bo Burnham. You guys heard of him?
Bill?
I haven't.
Bo Burnham. I'm going to link it, and
Yeah,
it's
let's
he
see.
actually. So Bo Burnham has a country song that's amazing because he does songs and dance and stuff, but it's him making fun of country music and not what Devin is playing and not what he's talking about, not this authenticity that comes through.
Well, I
Bo-
still have more to say, but go ahead.
No, you'll say it, Devin. Trust me. We're not ending this.
But but Bo Burnham makes fun of the disingenuine parts of country, So I'm gonna link this because it's awful. It's called Pandering. Yes.
I was trying to find another one.
So Devin, you had more to say, and I rudely interrupted you.
When I said simple, I mean I'm a pretty simple guy. I am a country guy. I'm from the country. I just meant they're simple, and it's and like there are some country songs where the exact lyric is just like 3 chords and the truth. The songs are a lot. It's just 3 chords and they're simple to play.
For all
The
country
audience.
songs?
No, not all country songs. I'm just saying you'll hear a lot of lyrics in like mainstream pop country. It's just like the lyric will be 3 chords and the truth because country songs are rather simple to play. Some of them may be more difficult, but the ones I've been playing are very simple.
So what would be a more difficult song to play?
If you're like a blues player in which I'm not a guitar expert, but I would imagine like some sort of bluesy song, something John Mayer's playing where he's picking he's picking and he's singing and he's doing all these different all these different things.
Okay, that's a good question. So
Carlos Santana.
Oh, that's a good one. You're playing chords. So when you say you're picking,
Yes.
what is can you tell me the difference? Because I really don't know. Okay, yeah, play us a little something.
No, I'm going to show you. A chord would be if I have over here on my left hand, I have some sort of, I'm doing something with my fingers over here. I'm holding it. Okay. And then a chord would just be, which that's not a chord.
You strum all the strings.
You're just strumming, and picking would be you're picking an individual string, just like that. That's picking. Chord would
that sounded kind of pretty good what you were doing there.
I wasn't even doing anything. I was just, in fact, I'm not in a position where I can even. I've got my guitar up here and I can't even reach.
So you don't pick? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean I can pick certain things. I'm just saying, like here's a John Mayer thing.
Oh yeah, hit me a little John Mayer, a little Gravity.
Okay, that's just like a little picking thing, and then a chord would be. Here's a simple chord.
Okay.
Just that's a C. Whatever, but yeah, that would be a chord.
Okay.
Oh,
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. So
a chord would be a combination like of just a bunch of strings together. Picking would be picking an individual string.
So all right. So my next question is that I don't know if you can answer this, but have you ever seen Desperado? Not the song.
the movie?
Yeah, the movie.
You're talking about the Made in Mexico trilogy, Desperado?
Yeah. Antonio Banderas.
Those. So you had El Mariachi, Desperado,
Yeah,
and
there
Once
you
Upon a Time
go.
in Mexico.
Yeah, let's go, John. So
that was movie number 2.
Yeah, there you go. So he's playing. Is he picking with his? I don't want to say the wrong words. Latin guitar, Mexican guitar.
He's picking, and it's Spanish guitar specifically.
Spanish guitar. There you go.
And
Sorry for anybody I offended.
yeah, well, I mean, the people who've seen the movie may or not.
That's a
be
great
aware of it.
trilogy, though.
It is.
I don't think I've seen it, so I don't know what he's doing.
Well, he's playing. I don't know if we should pull up a Spanish guitar thing right now, but it sounds like he's just picking kind of what you were just doing, Devin.
Picking just means you're literally picking at a string, and you're just doing a different a chord. Like if you're playing a chord, which I'm not an expert, and I might not even be explaining this right, but a chord is just you're holding down a certain combination of strings that sound good together with your left hand, and then you're just strumming it right here. Picking would be okay. I'm just doing one note at a time.
But you're also holding the neck, but you're not holding it in a.
Which now I could be picking a certain, like say I've got a C chord.
Okay.
And then I'm picking a certain pattern. That's picking. But then here's me just strumming.
Well,
Here's me picking. Here's strumming. Here's picking. You got it?
there it is.
Well, what does Chris Stapleton do?
Most people, I would say, do a combination of both.
Just depending on what style they want to throw out there.
Yeah, and it would, from my personal opinion, it would definitely be a lot harder. Like if you're picking and singing at the same time, that's definitely more difficult. Just like your average Joe would be out, just strumming and then singing a song. But if you're like picking some intricate thing and then also singing, you're pretty talented, I would say.
Well, have you ever wrote any of your own stuff yet?
I have not. I'm working. I'm
trying
to get there. I'm trying.
Yeah, I like that.
Right now, I'm mimicking other people, but
that's fine.
I feel like
that's how you start, man.
I feel like I could. I've got stories to tell. I have a few stories to tell.
There it is. So you're making them out, and you're going to tell your stories.
But just musically, I don't have the experience yet to tell a story and then also tell it with a guitar.
But maybe it'll be there soon.
It will be there.
And that's good. That's badass, bro.
That's good. Would you like to hear something?
Well, if you don't mind enlightening anything.
Let's see. Well, I know one song that I can play all the way.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn the volume up a little bit, and that way.
Let me see if I can play it.
Let's hear it.
All right, hold on. But before you start, hey, Devin, what's your Instagram?
Let's see. Instagram is, I think, D Dalton 2020.
Okay, D Dalton 2020 is on his Instagram. My man, my main.
I'll confirm.
Devin Dalton is going to play us a little something here.
I think that's what it is. And then Snapchat. Do we do Snapchat too?
You can do anything you want to. If you want people to
D
find
Dalton
you.
2020. I'm going to put it in the.
Okay, so John will send it to me in the links. I'll put it in the description below.
All right.
So hold on before. All right. So D Dalton 2020 on Insta. What was your Snapchat?
Yeah.
The Snapchat, I think it's Big Dev. Is it Big Dev 20 or Big Dev?
Hold up.
You don't even know your Snapchat, bro?
Dude, I don't know my Snapchat. What are you giving him shit for?
All right, you're probably right.
I think it's Big Dev 2020. It might just be Big Dev 20. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay, hold on.
It's Big Dev 2020. All right.
So, all right. Well, John will send it to us and put it in this. All right.
Okay.
So, before you start, what are you playing for us?
This is for all you country music fans.
I got a lot of those.
Okay. You've heard Darius Rucker sing this song. It was called Comeback Song. But what you don't realize is Chris Stapleton actually wrote it.
Did he write it with Darius Rucker?
No, I guess he just wrote it, and then Darius liked it, and then he sang it, whatever.
All right, well, before you start, Darius was the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish.
He was the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish. So he sang it.
Only want to be with you.
You've heard his version on the radio. I did like his version. He is a good singer. But then I heard Chris Stapleton, like his little live version, and it was amazing. And I was like, you know what? I need to learn that. I really like the way that sounds.
Okay. Well, before you start, I'm going to take this shot.
Hold up.
Oh, John's with me. Before you start, Devin. We're going to get a little swig. Here's my man, Big John Dub.
All right.
All right, and Devin, I'll sit here and be quiet whenever you're ready.
All right, let's see what I got here. And I woke up again this morning, and wouldn't you know it pouring rain. And I went and burned a pot of coffee, and just like us, poured it down the drain. Said I didn't know I needed you so, and letting you go was wrong. And baby, you know you got your radio on, and this is my bad comeback song. I know I said I wouldn't miss you, but now I'm saying I'm a fool. You're on a feel-good side of leaving, and I'm on the backside of a mule. Said I didn't know. Ooh, I messed up there, but let me go back to it. I needed you so, and letting you go was wrong. And baby, you know you got your radio on. This is my bad. sorry, I left out some stuff there, but
It's like, man, you're singing at my wedding. Just bring your guitar. You're gonna be there.
I'm about 5 beers deep, and I left some stuff out there, but whatever.
I thought that was badass, dude.
I get it
that was-
all. So
That's gnarly as fuck.
I could do better, but yeah,
That's
5
all
beers.
right, man. I liked it, man. I say we take this thing home on that one.
All right, let's do it.
Man.
All right, Chris. Closing thoughts.
Devin, you're a badass musician. Keep it coming.
All right, I will try.
grinding. I think you're doing
But
really well.
I messed up there, but I could do better. It's just
It doesn't matter. We can always do
It doesn't
better.
matter.
So
I could do but that's what
I was digging
that's
that,
what,
dude. I
that's
was
what
sitting there
life
jamming.
that's what life is about, is getting better. You know, every day you get better.
learn from, like
Oh.
what we said earlier. You learn from your
Next
mistakes, and
next podcast, I'll be perfect. Whatever.
Boom.
I hope you are, dude. Like I'm digging that. Nah, I was digging that, man. I was sitting there jamming, man. I got hype.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
was like, that was uncut, unfiltered, unedited. And I was like, fuck, that's all right, man. I was like,
And I'll be honest with you guys. I've never played in front of anybody before, except my mom.
You just played
Except my mom.
in front of people,
So,
at least
yeah,
30,
I played-
maybe
yeah.
70. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
technically, you
7.
still haven't. I'm here in North Carolina, and Chris is, somewhere else. So if you want to give, shout out to your mom, she's still your number one.
Shout out Big Debbie Dalton.
Oh, big yeah, baby.
I don't know if that's her Snapchat, but whatever.
I hope it is.
All right,
Y'all
fellas.
don't be hitting up my mom.
Devin, appreciate you doing that. Appreciate
no
you
problem,
being here.
man.
John, always pleasure. Good
Yeah, it was.
conversation, good times, good music, good drinks.
It was.
Likewise, buddy.
Anything we need to take or say before we take it home? Anything
Good night.
you guys want to say before we take it home?
Good night, because it's past my bedtime.
Okay.
now.
Oh, shit. I was going to say, Devin, sing with me. Country roads take me home.
Wait, what's that song we always sing? That hard.
Hard and deep and hard. Yeah.
All
That's
right.
about all
So-
the lyrics we have for
All
that.
right, I love it. All right, so long
All right.
and good night.
All right, good night.
Good night.